Is some of the music by Bob Dominator actually singing about the devil, the beast, and the book of Revelation? Well, I was listening to Bob Dominator recently and I actually thought it was really good music, very well put together, very smooth, very catchy songs. And I started putting together a little playlist on my YouTube channel for me to listen to because I quite enjoyed it. And don't get me wrong, it is powerful music, very catchy indeed, very catchy. But then after a while, I just thought there's just something not quite right about this. It was just so smooth, you know, too smooth really. And I think the thing that started to give it away a bit for me is when I started to see some of the videos where the people that were singing were present and were moving around. And you could just see that they're AI generated. But I thought, well, maybe the voices are genuine human voices because they sound it. So I wasn't really quite sure. So I Googled a little bit and found out that currently people think that it could be a mix of AI and human. But as a Christian, I thought, I think I need to sort of really start to examine these lyrics and just see exactly what it's saying, because I was listening to the song Dragon Style and I just caught wind of a couple of things in the lyrics and I thought, oh, my biblically trained ears sort of popped up thinking, what's he singing about there? That sounds like the book of Revelation to me. And with music and with lyrics, they can move so quickly, and sometimes you listen more to the music maybe than to the lyrics themselves. So I stopped myself with that and I thought, let's go to the actual lyrics. Let's have a look at the text. So I did a search on Dragon Style and I printed it up and I was absolutely shocked at what I saw. I really feel as though there's a lot of references in that song to the devil, especially with reference to the book of Revelation, but some other references as well. So I've got my glasses. I'm going to read through some of this. I'm not going to read through the whole song because there's a lot to it, but just the references which are relevant that really struck out to me as a Christian. And the first thing I noticed was it says, waking up from 1,000 years sleep. I was thinking, well, who wakes up after 1,000 years in the book of Revelation? Well, in Revelation chapter 20, it's the devil. It says that an angel is said to have seized Satan in the book of Revelation and he binds him for 1,000 years. And later on in the song, it says that he breaks through the stone and I rid off the chains. The angel chains him. And at the end of Revelation chapter 20, it says that Satan is released for a short time. So he breaks through the stone and he rids off the chains. And although not specifically mentioned in the book of Revelation, it does say in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2 in the Bible, that Satan is called the prince of the power of the air. Now, further down in the Bob Dominator song, it says that the dragon has its claws in the air. And a little bit further down, I'm painting the clouds with a silvery glow, ready to strike on the world below. Now, Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12 says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for Satan has come down to you, having great wrath, knowing that his time is short. So he's cast down. The song says, ready to strike on the world below. He's cast down with great wrath. He's ready to strike. Can you see the parallels? When I printed this off and I started to read through it, it was just going ping, 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 ping. All the red flags were just coming up. I was thinking, this is talking about the book of Revelation and Satan. I mean, some people might argue that it's like just a Viking song because there's a big Viking persona with Bob Dominator. And my son mentioned this to me. He said, don't you think it's just talking about Vikings and dragons and mythology and things like that? I think maybe there's some things like that mixed in with this song, but there's just too many references to biblical things, I think, as well, which I think anyone that knows the Bible would see for themselves reading this. Then it says just a bit further down in the song lyrics, then we battle dragon style. And again, back to Revelation chapter 12, verses 9 and 12, it references Satan as being the great dragon. Further down in the song, it says, tail like a whip. Revelation 12, verses 3 to 4, says that the dragon's tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky. And Revelation 6:15 says that the kings hide themselves in the rocks in the caves. That's quite interesting when the song says that none of these kings want to step on the field because they're hiding in the rocks in the caves. And guess what? Even today we have rich people, elites, famous people who have got a lot of money, they're able to do it, a lot of power, a lot of influence, a lot of control. And what are they doing? They're building bunkers in the ground, in the rocks, in the caves, as the book of Revelation says. And then further on in the song, it says again, ruling the air. I don't need a path when I'm on in the sky. Back to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, Satan is called the prince of the power of the air. And then finally it says, then we battle dragon style. It says that a couple of times in the song. Again, reference to the dragon making battle against Christ at the Battle of Armageddon with the kings of the earth. Isn't it amazing, guys? What is so in your face these days? It is absolutely phenomenal. I can't see this being coincidental. I think this is intentional. It's got to be singing about the book of Revelation and about Satan. But a lot of people just would not see that. I didn't see it initially until a couple of things caught my ears, and then I printed it up and I started to see so much more. But yeah, it's very strange. AI music, why would they be talking about this? Why would AI music be talking about Satan and the beast and the book of Revelation? Very strange. Let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments below. Thanks for listening. Take care and God bless.